Hey, fellas. It has been a while. Been super busy trying to just take care of a few things and take care of family, and finally getting a chance to show off some cards, some latest pickups, and I want to talk to you today about a guy who could call a game. He could call a baseball game. So before I do that, let's take a look at a couple of other things. The first thing I want to show you is on April 15th, Jackie Robinson Day. I had a chance to go to the Cincinnati Reds game. They played the Philadelphia Phillies, and really great game. That was an exciting game to watch, and picked up a few things from the game, so I thought I'd show you guys that first. The first is, obviously, it's Jackie Robinson Day, so they had Jackie Robinson, these kind of postcards up. It's not quite a postcard. On the back, it talks some about his history. And they also had Chuck Harmon Jr. as well as his family out that day as well. And if you remember, Chuck Harmon was the first African American player to play for the Cincinnati Reds. And so it was just kind of neat that they paid the respects to his family, and had him there. The other thing that I got, and I've never picked anything like this up, but they were handing this out at the gate. And this is, I better turn it the right way here. So this is the Cincinnati Reds Great American Ballpark Stadium. And you can see it has, this is a little steamboat back here. And Great American Ballpark. This is pretty close to what it looks like. I mean, you can see these things move a little bit here, which is probably good, but 20th anniversary. So 2003 is when the stadium opened. I had not realized it was only 20 years old. And I say that because it has that old ballpark feeling to it. It's a beautiful ballpark. It's actually really nice. So I'm not saying that it looks old or feels old. It's just it kind of has that old ballpark feel to it. But yeah, I was pretty excited to have this. So I'll put it over here by the Cincinnati Reds logo from time past. So I was pretty excited to pick those things up. So let's talk about a few cards that recently have come in for me, and we'll keep these up the whole time and try to stay organized here, and go from there. I haven't done a video in a while. I feel super rusty. Yeah, so it's been really busy lately, and I know everybody gets busy, but we've just had a lot kind of going on in our family. But all is turning out well, so very very grateful for that. All right, so the first card I want to show you is a 1948, and we're staying in our Cincinnati Reds theme here, at least for this first bit, or this first card. So this is a guy named Ewell Blackwell. He played for the Cincinnati Reds, and he's still considered one of the best pitchers the Reds ever had. If you look up like who has the best stats, and this is a 1948 Leaf card. I know people are going to say, well, it's got marks on it and dings, and it does. It has character, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful character, in my opinion. The reason I liked it, regardless of what people say about a card having character that's this old, I thought the color was still really great. I mean, the background color is great, and the Cincinnati, the last part, the T and the I, really pop. But yeah, I like the old Leaf cards. I think they're really cool. I think they're really neat. So I'm gonna keep moving poor Great American Ballpark out of the stands here, but so that's the Ewell Blackwell. And then a little bit about Ewell. He, like I said, he's one of the great American or great Cincinnati Reds pitchers. He served in the Second World War, and I think that's always something really important just to point out. Speaking of someone else who served in the Second World War, and I just discovered these cards recently. This is a 1959 Fleer Ted Williams card. And the picture is from 1944. And it says Ted Fly Solo. And I think most people know Ted Williams, one of the greatest hitters of all time. He also was an American pilot in the Second World War. And that's when this picture was taken. And 1959 has a whole bunch of really great cards as they start to mark his career and show it. And once I saw this card, it's a PSA 7, and I decided I needed it. And so 1944, flying in the Navy, just an overall great card. Yeah, so I saw it. I had to get it. I thought it looked really sharp. I'll include a link, but Mike, the sports history collector, his YouTube channel, he is doing a series of videos on people that served in the military and who also played professional sports. And I would recommend checking it out. I'll include the link to his Volume 2 video. It's just fun to watch and hear some of the history of these fellas who served our country. And so I'll include that as we go here. All right. So let's talk a little bit more on the baseball cards, huh? So let's talk about a guy named Jim Hegan, and so we're staying, in Ohio, if you will, but we are getting out of Cincinnati. So Jim Hegan played most of his career with the Cleveland Indians. He was on that very famous 1948 team that won the World Series. Now, you fellas know that I like old cards, and apparently I love tough and gritty baseball players as well. Jim Hegan was one of those guys. He earned 5 All-Star selections, but the reason he got those selections was not because he was a great hitter. He loved to call the game, and he was really, really good at it. This guy was a master of the strategy of calling a game, which is also, if you have listened to any of my videos, one of the reasons I like Martin Maldonado, who plays for the Houston Astros. I think he understands the strategy of the game and understands the game just really well. So one of my favorite quotes about Jim Hegan is from the Hall of Famer Bob Lehman, and he said of Hegan, "When I first started pitching, I used to shake him off sometimes. Invariably, they'd get a hit, so I stopped shaking him off." And from what I could tell, that's Jim Hegan. He led multiple teams with pitchers who would get 20-plus wins a game. In fact, I think two different times he had players, 2 different times in his career, at least. He had 3 pitchers who were 20-game winners. And that's him calling the game, right? So that's pretty impressive. So let's keep looking at his cards. This is his 1948 Leaf card. And this is the closest thing I have to a rookie card of his. There might be another card out there younger in his career. If there is, feel free to let me know. Obviously, I got on a Leaf kick here recently, but I've been following this particular Jim Hegan card and trying to get one, the 1948 version, for a while. Personally, I love the cards. I think they're just gorgeous, And I would say they're some of my favorite, but well, it turns out that all the cards appear to be my favorite. But this card looks really good. I'll put it here, 1948, his rookie season. The next one is a 1951 Bowman card, and yeah, I love the old Bowman cards. They have so much character. 1951 Bowman, and Jim Hegan, of course, he's already won that World Series here with this card. But he pitched for, or he had multiple Hall of Fame pitchers throughout his career pitch for him, and called their games, and a true testament. We'll get to one of these cards here that I absolutely love, which I know I've said this to you fellas before, but yeah, 1951. We're going now to 1955, and staying with the Cincinnati Reds. If you don't know what this is an old Redman Big League Chewing Tobacco card, and I believe you would buy these when you would buy Redman Chewing Tobacco, and some of them have a tab on it, and the tab is right here, and you can see this one's been cut pretty well on that line. And if you collected 25, I think it was 25 of those tabs, you'd mail it in, and they would send you back one of your favorite team baseball hats. Of course, they're not called Redman Chewing Tobacco anymore. I forgot what they're called now, but the company still exists. It's just they changed the name. Just as the Cleveland Indians did there. All right. And then this is a 1955 card as well. This is a Topps doubleheader, and I only found out about these recently. I'm gonna start on the back side here. And what the Topps doubleheader is, it's actually two cards in one. So there's Jack Park's card, and this is Jack Park's right here. And please stay focused for me, card. This is Jack Park's right here in that card. And then the other card in this section is Jim Hegan. And of course it tells you all their stats. It tells you what they did in a year, how many at-bats they had, how many games they played, etc. Though I don't quite understand that. That includes minor league records. But then, so there's perforations right here. So this top part will actually fold down, and it will. And I'm not going to do it. But this is the Jim Hegan card. So Jim Hegan's actually hiding when the card's folded, and when the card's folded, it fits perfectly to Jack Park's, and it comes right about here, and so it looks like the feet are squatting. So the card's really cool, and they have a whole bunch from 1955. I just happen to be a fan of Jim Hegan for some strange reason. I think it's just he was a gritty player. He was really, a tough player. He only had like a 4.7 WAR, but he could call a game, and I think that is something that is unfortunately very, very underappreciated. Now this next card is his 1956 Topps card, and this is the last card I'll show today. And I'll just let you guys know that this is one of my favorite cards. And the reason is all about the picture. I mean, the reason is absolutely because of the picture. And so, let's start out on the back. So if you don't know what's getting ready to come, then I can, keep the suspense going for a little while. But it says, last year Jim led the AL catchers in fielding for the third time. He's caught no-hitters. He's caught 3 no-hitters, tops of all active catchers. Jim is the most graceful, sure-handed backstop in all of baseball. And it says, easy does it. So why do I love this card so much? I mean, yeah, the backs are cool. They should bring back backs like this. But that's not the actual reason. The card, oh, goodness gracious. The card, this is, I think, the same picture they used in his 1955 card as well. But look at this. This cracks me up. So a guy sliding in, or not a guy, right? Jim Hegan sliding in, and he's got cleats up and digging into a guy. So definitely would have gotten in trouble in today's game. Though I think there's just like a certain character, that goes along with that. You wouldn't see that in today's cards, and it would definitely be frowned upon, and rightly so, in today's game. But yeah, I don't know. I just like the fact that they put it on a card. I think I'd be pretty mad if I saw that today. I can't injure somebody else and ruin their life and their career, but doesn't mean that the card isn't a cool picture. So that's the last card. And, I'll just say there were so many things about him I liked. And the Society for American Baseball Research, there's an article about Jim Hegan written by Rick Ballas, I believe. It says, in the short story, it says that in the 1950s, including the 1954 team, were all well known for their big four-starting rotations consisting of Bob Feller, Bob Lehman, Early Wynn, and Mike Garcia. But when asked which superstar pitcher was the best, Yankees manager Casey Stengel said, "Give me that fella behind the plate. He's what makes him." And it's true. Jim Hegan may have had a WAR of 4.3. But these modern-day stats don't tell the whole story. Hegan helped to lead the Indians' pitching staff to some amazing records in the late 40s and the 50s. Think about it. 1948, the pitching staff led the league in winning percentage, shutouts, and ERA. In 1951 and 52, the staff had 3 20-game winning pitchers. 1954, the lowest ERA and 111 wins. And in 1956, the year that this card is, they also had the lowest ERA and once again had 3 pitchers winning 20 games that season. That's a pretty amazing record for a guy that is kind of forgotten by all baseball metric standards today. So with that's it for me, guys. I hope y'all are doing good. I hope you enjoyed a little bit of history about Jim Hegan, and we will see you guys around next time. Later, fellas. Bye.